as if the meeting in Alaska went poorly, it's fake news. He also announced breaking news regarding Russian Federation and said, "Wait for it, it's all coming." Trump wrote, "Huge progress on Russian Federation. Stay tuned. Stand by for news." Trump said that fake news is destroying the truth about him, and that there is nothing he can say or do anymore that they will write the truth. He noted that he had a great meeting in Alaska regarding Biden's war that should have never happened. Trump added that if he had gotten Russia to drop Moscow as part of the deal, fake news and their partners, radical left-wing Democrats, would have said he had made a terrible mistake and made a very bad deal, the U.S. president wrote. Zelensky said territory exchanges should be discussed only in a trilateral meeting with him, Putin, and Trump. Ursula von der Leyen added the European delegation will then fly to the U.S. Vladimir Zelensky said that any deal should be made after a ceasefire, so a ceasefire should be achieved first and then a final agreement should be formed quickly. Does Donald Trump seem to have abandoned the idea of a ceasefire after the Alaska meeting, or is he just not voicing it? What does he mean regarding the huge progress on Russia? The Russian-Ukrainian war is raised as Donald Trump mentions the deal and Moscow. If an exchange occurs, Moscow is not needed, and Ukraine will not swap its own territories. This is a classic example of Donald Trump making a victory out of defeat while dividing people into his own and outsiders, because he has won every election he has run in. Face it and recognize that 2 + 2, as much as Donald Trump has said, is important when the United States found itself in a stalemate after the meeting in Anchorage, where the American president behaved as expected. The only thing that prevented an even greater embarrassment was the lack of a press conference. Everyone saw that Donald Trump left empty-handed. If you look at it from the perspective of someone who works for or shows subservience to someone else, you can see that Trump is showing a smile that we've rarely seen when he's trying to get someone to like him. That's definitely not how he smiles at Vladimir Zelensky.
Та улыбка, которую мы так никогда и не увидели, когда Трамп улыбается так милостиво, в хорошем настроении, чтобы понравиться кому-то, ну, что он точно так не улыбается Зеленскому.
Donald Trump smiles at Vladimir Putin like this, showing a good attitude. Americans are looking at this and asking, how is he trying to fool Putin? What is he trying to spend? On the surface, it looks unpleasant, as if an intelligence agent is in the enemy camp and trying to groom Putin. But the result looks deplorable. On the other hand, Donald Trump says after every failure, it's fake news, it was a powerful victory. How do you not see that? We just defeated the enemy or defeated or rallied with the enemy. It doesn't matter. The important thing is that our ally now is Russia. If we had good relations, this meeting would have been a 10 out of 10 success. If you're in favor of Donald Trump, you look at this and you think, what a great Trump, it's breathtaking. He's showing his actions and he let Vladimir Putin through, realizing how dangerous this man is, and he explained everything to us. If you look at it from the other side, it's a complete failure, disgrace, and disgusting. You're apparently not Donald Trump yet, because that's not how Trumpists behave. They look at everything Trump touches and they say, gilded. He touched us, and if you don't say he gilded us, he can still bite us.
Вау, это ж надо как, он дотронулся до нас теперь. А если не сказать, что озолотил, так он еще может укусить.
Donald Trump, who can bite, is very dangerous, so it's better to gild him, say it went well, and hope, as in the old Jewish musical about the fiddler on the roof. We wish the Tsar were far away from us, because in Alaska it's already good. The farther away, the better. This gives the impression of Vladimir Putin's complete triumph, and it is impossible not to notice it. We deliberately tried to make Putin think that we are distancing him from China, and then Russia will be ours, not China's. We need this. All the talk and conspiracy thinking among the Republican electorate exists only to avoid acknowledging the fact that Donald Trump is behaving like a servant to Vladimir Putin. He opened the door for him. Now there's news. Classified information was left at the Captain Cook or Hook restaurant in the hotel. Actually, Yura, it's true. There was no lunch, no bread, no salad, no perch fillet. Vladimir Putin ate nothing. The program was changed. There was no extended meeting. Perhaps Putin's victory is only tactical. It's a sign of respect that Donald Trump clearly expressed to Vladimir Putin. Your Excellency, Vladimir Putin did not shine his light on this lunch. This was a lunch in honor of Putin, not in honor of Trump, the United States, or the nations. Putin certainly doesn't go to a lunch in his own honor.
Это же был не в честь, я говорю, не в честь Трампа и Путина, не в честь Соединенных Штатов и России, не в честь народов. Нет, это было в честь Путина. И Путин, чего же ходить на ланч собственную, эту самую.
Vladimir Putin doesn't need to go out to lunch. Every lunch he eats is in his honor. He was happy and smiling as he rode in the presidential limousine. Correspondents remarked, "Something's not right here. He's smiling too much."
В котором едет президент, в лимузине президента, об этом говорили корреспонденты, как-то так, что-то тут не так, что-то он очень улыбается.
He was very cheerful. He may have been sent in as a lookalike because lookalikes don't hold press conferences. This man was excited about the place where he found himself. It may have been a surprise when Donald Trump was able to get him there. He may not have known that there was an armored personnel carrier or some Volga he drives. Yura, they brought the Oris, their limousine of the domestic car industry with Chinese parts. Even for all the money in the world, I wouldn't ride in the Oris. It won't get to the first pole. Everything is ruined. Perhaps Vladimir Putin thought he would have a chance to say something personally to Donald Trump without interpreters and other members of the delegation. Vladimir Putin may have felt safe because there's no drone flying next to the President of the United States, and for a few minutes he was safe. He was happy about that. What they may or may not have discussed is hard to judge. With Donald Trump, it's generally unpredictable. The car is probably bugged. Only pleasant things could be discussed because Vladimir Putin must realize that everything is recorded in the car. With his minimal knowledge of English, I don't expect that any secret treaties were signed there. On the other hand, these mafia dons operate on the notions of how pleased I would be if someone solved this problem for me. Is this a contract or a bargain? Basically, they show that, as one person called it a black mesa, I would call it an orange bloody mesa. There may not have been scary statements, there were old historical ones, but when such people are in power, there is such an orange mesa.
когда были там старые исторические языки. Но вот когда такие люди у власти, вот такая оранжевая месса.
Unfortunately, we are ruled by such horrible old people. One is accused of some crimes, another is proven guilty of others, and a crook is subservient to a murderer.
С одной стороны, человек, которого обвиняют в одних видах преступления, другой, которого уже доказано, что он виновен в других видах преступления, и мошенник подобострастно относится к убийце.
That's the kind of people, and that's the kind of rules they have. That's the style of communication. If Donald Trump likes something, you have to use it. He is a star. Interestingly, Vladimir Putin is the only one that Trump treats with respect and piety. Things get easier when you realize how well Trump treats Putin.
Просто еще раз хочу напомнить, но это не сюрприз, если слушать Рашкина уже, я не знаю когда, это как бы один из постулатов того, о чем я рассказываю, что все становится намного проще, если мы поймем, как хорошо Трамп относится к Путину.
It's almost unrealistic on what level Donald Trump is subservient to Vladimir Putin. But it's a fact. This was proven once again at the press conference when Trump wasn't allowed to take questions. Trump likes to take questions, but Putin said, no.
Я понимаю, что если он уже с Путиным, то вы получили все, что вам нужно, журналист. А Трамп все равно, значит, как бы любит отвечать на вопросы, но Путин сказал нет.
No. He smiles and rejoices. When Donald Trump finds himself in the dock with Vladimir Putin in The Hague, he will be happy to be sitting next to the great man. I wonder if Putin will turn Trump in when he testifies. I think he will, and quickly. On the other hand, Trump will turn Putin in.
Сдаст ли Путин, когда будет давать показания Трампу? Я думаю, что сдаст и быстро. С другой стороны, Трамп сдаст Путина.
It turns out to be an interesting fiction, Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. Let us know in the comments where this is going. What I see more dangerous is the general mood and closeness of the two men, not the secret treaties or their fulfillment. Putin keeps demanding from Trump what he is unable to give, Ukraine's head on a platter.
Путин все время требует от Трампа то, чего Трамп не в состоянии ему дать, это голову Украины на блюдечке.
Donald Trump wants to do business projects and make money, while Vladimir Putin can't stop until he deals with Ukraine. Ukraine gets in the way. Sometimes people need to be reminded. More and more Americans on different sides are confused about the root cause of the war. For Putin, it is to remove Ukraine. Everything else is in his head. There are communication problems on all sides, but Donald Trump finds common ground and smiles at Vladimir Putin, catering to him as a customer who has bought a lot of something, maybe condos or other. When such a person comes to your hotel, you welcome his visit and want him to deny himself nothing. Lunch is organized for him in the most lavish way.
Может быть, я не знаю что, но вы знаете, вот когда к вам приходит такой человек в ваш отель, и вы очень рады, что он к вам наконец пришел, и вы хотите, чтобы он себе не отказывал ни в чем, пока он у вас, вот ланч у нас даже для вас сделан. Самый шикарный ланч.